Hey YouTube, what's up? This is FriedVice, and today we're going to be talking about some potential leaks for Sword and Shield based off of Pokemon Home data mines. We're going to be looking at quite a lot of things today, so I'm going to run through them really quick, and then we're going to spend some time at the end of the video talking about each one. So first off, if you do not want to see leaks, you should probably click away now. That probably goes without saying. All right, so first off, last night we had some leaks about new abilities and some new items added to Sword and Shield. So I'm going to put them on the screen. There, you should see them right in front of you right now. Just take a look to glance over them if you want. If you don't care, just wait a minute and we'll take a look at the rest of it. And then at the end, I'm going to take some time to talk about each one. So here you can see these. If you want to, you can pause the video now. All right, let's take a look at the next one. These were moves that were added to Sword and Shield. These have been out, or these... not added yet, but these leaks have been out for about 4, 5, maybe 6 days now. I was going to make a video on it, but it just took some time. These also were leaked from Pokemon Home, supposedly. So these first two, I think, are the most likely to be real. All right, let's take a look at the next one. This is a leak from 4chan, basically somebody saying what those moves are, because so far we only know the names of those moves. We don't even know the typing of what they do. So this is someone telling us they think they know, based off of leaks, what the moves do and what typings they are. Again, this is kind of going in decreasing order as to credibility, so I'm not sure if we believe this, but we'll talk about it at the end. Next up, we have some leaks related to some new Pokemon, new forms, Galarian forms, all sorts of interesting stuff about the upcoming DLC, Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra for Pokemon. So take a look at that. Again, I'm not sure if this is real or not. We'll find out, obviously, in the next month. That should be when the DLC drops. And then here's the last part of it related to the Crown Tundra here. So supposedly some new G-Max forms, Galarian forms as well, as some pretty interesting stuff. So please stay tuned, because we're about to take some time to actually talk about each of these. So let's go back to the first one. Okay, so in the first one, you have the new abilities, Quick Draw and Unseen Fist. Up here it says maybe question mark Slowbro. I'm not sure about that. That is not in the leak. That is just what somebody else was thinking. This is where I found the information. But Unseen Fist for sure, I think we know for sure, is Urshifu's ability. We have no idea what it's going to be. I think the Japanese actually translates to something like Fluffy Fist, which is kind of interesting. I have no idea what it's going to be like. Is it going to be like Iron Fist, boosting the power of like physical punching moves? I'm not sure yet. Could it be similar to Tough Claws, of boosting the ability, the damage output of moves that make contact? We have no idea yet, but I think there's some really interesting ideas that could be out there. Maybe it has something to do with which fighting style you get your Urshifu to evolve to. We know that there's going to either be Fighting Water type 1 or a Fighting Dark type 1, so maybe that ability has something to do with that there. It could even possibly be an ability that does increased damage to Dynamax Pokemon. I mean, that's something that Game Freak is really doing right now with I think all this Gen 8 stuff, very focused on Dynamax. Quick Draw though, new ability. A lot of people are speculating it could be Slowbro's, Galarian Slowbro's unique ability. People are saying that there's this move, Shell Sidearm, that could be related to Galarian Slowbro. People really want it to be this water poison type, I'm thinking, with Marini involved, or even a Galarian Corsola could be this water ghost type. So a lot of people are speculating on that. I'm not sure if Quick Draw is going to be for Slowbro. We have yet to determine, but we're pretty sure that this is a new ability leaked by Pokemon Home. And there's some new items as well. Max Honey, Max Mushrooms, Galarica Twig, Galarica Cuff, Style Card, Armor Pass, Experience Charm, Armorite Ore, and a Mark Charm. So first off, Max Honey and Max Mushrooms, these are either going to be related to being able to sell stuff for lots of money, or they could also be related to curry recipes. I don't see them having any other really use outside of that. Perhaps it's an item that you would have to trade to an NPC for some them to do something. Maybe it'll be related to the new move tutors that we know are going to be in the DLC. It could also have to do with Honey. I mean, we know in Gen 6, Honey was involved in horde encounters, so possibly that's coming back, but I don't think so. We already had regular honey and tiny mushrooms and large mushrooms and the other we had all those mushrooms in the game already, so I don't know. Maybe it's just a new item for money, because before those items were only related to money. Galarica Twig and Galarica Cuff. Again, this person here thinks it could be related to Slowpoke's evolutions, Galarian Slowpoke's evolutions. We're not sure. I mean, these could be related to anything, but chances are they're probably Pokemon specific, and they may very well relate to new evolutions or new Pokemon or forms that we have yet to see before. Next up, we have the style card. This person's thinking it's a key item. I probably agree with that. I think we already know that you can change your style in the Pokemon games. You can change your clothing, your outfits, the way you look, your hair, as well as you have a card that can display how you want to show that information. Your trainer card, basically. It's like that backside of, you know, when you show what you want to look like. So this could be very much related to that, your style card. It could be a new way to showcase this kind of stuff. I'm not sure. I mean, I would be surprised that they'd add a new item related to this. So perhaps this does something completely new that we have yet to understand. If you have any thoughts or ideas on any of these, by the way, please leave comments down below and we can have a discussion about it. I'll also probably be discussing this tonight while I'm streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/FriedViceCube. So if you're interested, please check that out. All right, next up we have the Armor Pass. Very interesting. I think this is definitely related to our Isle of Armor. It could possibly be just the item that you need to take the train to the Isle of Armor. It could be as simple as that. You get the Armor Pass and then you get to go. Experience Charm. So this is most likely, I don't see any reason why not. This would just be one of those charms, just like the Shiny Charm, that you add to increase your chances of, well, maybe not chances, but just to increase the amount of experience you get. It could just flat be a baseline 10% maybe experience boost across the board for all your Pokemon, or it could be like, for example, the Shiny Charm, which increases your chances, or the Catch Charm, which just increases your chances of getting a Shiny, or increasing your chances of getting a critical capture. So maybe this will increase your chances of all of a sudden just having a massive experience boost for all your Pokemon. We're not sure. Next up, we have the Armorite Ore. And now, my hopes about the Armorite Ore is this is a new fossil. I would love to see a new fossil Pokemon related to this Armorite Ore. But it could also be related to possibly, like an ore makes me think of smithing and forging and creating something. It could be we have to create or build maybe a weapon or something like that related to this Isle of Armor. We have no idea. But this is very interesting because that just... a lot of these are like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense of what that would be, but the Armorite Ore is kind of very wide open to speculation here. And then lastly, the Mark Charm. For those of you who don't know, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, certain Pokemon you catch under certain conditions have a chance of having a mark associated with them. And those marks are a little tiny like sticker that show up when you're examining the Pokemon summary. And then when you send them out in battle, it'll say things like, I don't know, you send out your Rillaboom and it says Rillaboom the Unfazed or something like that. Obviously, you can't catch a Rillaboom in the wild, so Rillaboom wouldn't have one of these marks, but any Pokemon you catch in the wild would have a mark. So the Mark Charm is most likely an item that when you have it, it increases your chances of finding Pokemon in the wild with those marks, which I think is cool. It's just another way to show off the Pokemon you've been hunting. I mean, obviously, it'd be crazy to get a shiny Pokemon with a mark. Right now, they're pretty rare. All right, let's take a look at the next one and discuss. So we have all these moves here, and these moves, I have the names in English, French, and Italian here. I think they're also in Spanish somewhere. These moves, again, were leaked based off of the Pokemon Home leak that came a few days ago, like last week even. I think that a lot of people are agreeing that these probably are real. We're seeing a lot of terms and Pokemon moves in here, especially ones that we know already should be in the game, such as Urshifu's move, I believe, which is Wicked, Surging Strikes, perhaps even Wicked Blow there. We also have Jungle Healing, which we know is Zarude's signature move. So let's just take a look also at what someone else had to say about these, and I'm going to give my thoughts and really kind of say what I wish or want or hope these moves are actually. So I'm looking at these. Honestly, a lot of what this person's saying here to be leaked for what these moves are, I'm kind of disappointed with. I don't really want a lot of these things. So here we have new moves: Expanding Force, a fighting type special based move, Earthquake equivalent. I mean, that would be really cool. That we'd have another actual nice fighting type special move. Earthquake equivalent means 100 base power, 100 accuracy, 10 PP. That is a very, very, very strong move. And if Pokemon like, I don't know, like Alakazam and non-fighting types that are special Pokemon get this, that would be like completely broken, I think. So But what I would like to see out of it, Expanding Force makes me think, yes, either a fighting type or psychic type move. And I actually think Expanding Force should be more of like, if you think of something that was pushing out. And I think that this should be a move that does a small amount of damage and also forces the opposing Pokemon out. Sort of like a Dragon Tail or Roar, where it is a negative priority, so it always goes last and it will switch the Pokemon out. I think that would be cool to have another move that could switch the opposing Pokemon out. Next up, we have Steel Roller, and this is a Steel type rollout equivalent. Now, rollout, if you don't know, it is a move that has a very small initial base power, but every turn that you use it, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, like the snowballing effect. I think Ice Ball is another equivalent move in the Ice type. They have a slightly lower accuracy, so there's a chance to miss. Also, with Rollout, if you use Defense Curl initially, it will increase the base power to start with. And it's this move that just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but competitively isn't used very often because it forces you and you're stuck in using that move. The most common use of Rollout, I think, is in Generation 2. That would be the Miltank from the second gym in Goldenrod Whitney's Miltank. I think Steel Roller being a rollout equivalent would be really cool. I'm not sure what else it could be. I mean, it might be like this rolling type. I mean, Steel Roller makes you think of like flattening out something. So in my opinion, maybe it's a Steel type move that will suppress a Pokemon's ability after using it. Or it could even be a Steel type move that could paralyze as it's crushing the opponent. So we have yet to see. Next up, we have Scale Shot being a Dragon type move here is what it says. It's special base, and that's all it says. I mean, we already have Dragon Pulse. Honestly, scales do remind me of, you know, fish, dragons, but also butterflies have scales. So Scale Shot could also be a bug type move. The term shot definitely makes us think probably it's going to be a special move. I'm thinking it could be one of those moves that have a higher crit-based chance, or even moves that ignore abilities that draw in other moves. So like Storm Drain, you might be able to use this in doubles to dodge the effects of Storm Drain, or something like that, a move that redirects so you can always hit the target you're aiming for. I know Pokemon, especially in these days, is trying to add more moves and abilities and Pokemon that are relevant in the VGC doubles competitive scene. So perhaps that's one of those. Next up, we have Meteor Beam. So this says it's a Steel Beam equivalent, 50% recoil. Steel Beam is a new move that was added to the game. It's a massive base power, lots of damage output, special move, Steel type, that also has a large amount of recoil. You take tons of damage to yourself after using it. And you'll actually find there's a lot of moves here that have this new, lots of damage, special base, but lots of recoil that this person is saying. And honestly, I mean, it's cool, but I would like to get way more unique things. I don't want just copies of the same move, just in different types. Meteor Beam, it says here it's a Psychic type move. Honestly, Meteors, I think this should be a Rock type move, and Meteor Beam should be a very powerful special Rock type move. We do not have one of those right now. I mean, certain Pokemon have unique movesets to them, but Power Gem is basically the only special Rock type move that most Pokemon have access to, and a lot of Pokemon that would want to learn Power Gem don't even have the option to learn it. So I think Meteor Beam, in my opinion, should be a Rock type special move that has maybe something like Overheat, where it'll lower your special attack after using it, or perhaps it could be just a lower accuracy move like Hydro Pump. Next up, we have Shell Sidearm. This definitely sounds like a physical move, and a lot of people are thinking this is Galarian Slowbro's signature move. And here they're saying it reduces speed. I think that the Shell Sidearm could be a recoil move. It could be a move that maybe has a chance to flinch, or it could be like Double Iron Bash in my thoughts, like that kind of like swinging, attacking move. It could be a move like that would ignore your defense of the opponent. So if they have increases to their defense, it could ignore that. I don't know. I mean, Shell Sidearm sounds really cool. I guess at this point the only clues that we have is maybe it is related to Galarian Slowbro. It does relate to shells. Next up, the Misty Explosion. Again, this Steel Beam equivalent move, Fairy type Misty Explosion. I think this one and the next few moves are definitely related to terrains. Obviously, it has the word mist in it, which we know there's misty terrain, and I think this should be a move that has a different effect if you use it during misty terrain. I think that would make way more sense. So it could perhaps be like a Solar Beam equivalent for terrain, where if you're using it Solar Beam in the Sun, it will always hit in one turn, whereas otherwise it would take 2 turns. Or Thunder, where it always hits in the rain. Or Hurricane, it always hits in the rain, so perhaps it could be a fairy type move that when used outside of terrain it has a lower accuracy, or it might take 2 turns or something like that, but when used in misty terrain it would be much stronger, or maybe the accuracy is always there, you'll always hit it, or perhaps it could be a 1-turn move. But it definitely, I think, needs to be a very powerful move. It says Explosion in it, seriously. And this could be a physical or even a special. I mean, Explosion is a physical move, but something like this maybe is going to be a special move here. Next up, Grassy Glide, a grass type flying press equivalent, they're saying, and Zarude signature moves. So Flying Press, if you're not aware, is a flying and fighting type move signature to Hawlucha, as well as, I believe, Pikachu cosplay Lucha form, the tough form. So only 2 Pokemon have access to Flying Press. And this is interesting because Grassy Glide, I mean, I could see this, a grass type and flying type move. I don't know how useful it would be. I'm not sure why Zarude would have this as its signature move. I mean, Zarude we know is going to be a grass dark type. I don't know why it would have this glide attack. In my opinion, Grassy Glide could be, I mean, like a 2-turn move where you fly up and then hit down next turn. It could be a move that when you use it, it acts as, I don't know, maybe it boosts one of your stats after using it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a grass type move that after using it, it could boost your speed. We're not sure. Grassy Glide, very interesting. Rising Voltage. Okay, I have a really interesting idea for Rising Voltage, but this person says it's electric type flying press equivalent again, so it'll be an electric flying type move. That would be really powerful, I think. But I think Rising Voltage is a move that, again, for both of these, when they're used in the terrain, they get a boosted power, or they're more accuracy, or maybe it would be instead of 2 turns, 1 turn, for example, that Grassy Glide, probably a 2-turn move using grassy terrain, maybe it'd just be 1 turn. But Rising Voltage here, I think that when using this in terrain, it will give your Pokemon it will basically do damage and give you the equivalent of using Magnet Rise. So meaning you would levitate above the ground and your Pokemon cannot be hit by ground type moves. So I think this would be really cool to use Rising Voltage, and then all of a sudden you do damage and you have yourself levitating above the ground. This would be very, very, very good, I think, especially for electric types, especially if Tapu Koko or something gets this. Wow. Next up, we have Terrain Pulse. This says Weather Ball equivalent based on present terrain. I mean, I believe it's either Secret Power or Nature Power already changes depending on the terrain that's used. So I don't know about that. I mean, we have talked about Misty Terrain, Grassy Terrain, and Electric Terrain, but we haven't talked about Psychic Terrain here, that Psychic Surge. So maybe this is more related to that Psychic Terrain here. It seems weird that it just says Terrain Pulse, so it's also more related. Maybe it is just that Weather Ball equivalent, or depending on which terrain is out, it'll do a lot of damage. I'm not sure. Okay, we have Skitter Smack here. Again, Skitter Smack, they're saying it is a fighting type Cub Fu signature move. I could see that, but skittering, I think a little tiny bugs skittering around. So I think Skitter Smack is going to be a physical bug type move that is really powerful. We already have Megahorn as a very powerful bug type move, but this may be a slightly less powerful, or instead of Megahorn having a high chance to miss, this could be a different type of effect here. It could also be a move where it is a lower base power but could raise or lower the opponent's stats. So we'll find out about that in the future. Burning Jealousy, this pretty much sounds like it's going to be a fire type move, although I could also see this being a dark type move. It says here it is a Steel Beam equivalent. Again, kind of frustrating again to see all these repeats of what the moves would do. But I think Burning Jealousy is going to for sure be something a lot more related to like maybe a dark type move that can inflict burn. Like, I think that would be really cool. And we're going to see something else coming up soon that would make me think of that. Okay, next out we have Lash Out, dark type Revenge equivalent. Revenge does more damage after a Pokemon has been attacked or damaged, even though your other Pokemon has been knocked out. So Lash Out doing more damage and being a dark type. Lash Out does sound like a dark type attack. I could see this. I don't have much else to say. Poltergeist, Ghost type, buffed Shy Sock equivalent, Galarian Slowpoke signature move, or Slow King signature move. I don't know how I feel about that. A Poltergeist, again, especially because this same person who made this leak said that Galarian Slow King was actually going to be a Psychic and Poison type, and Galarian Slow Bro they said was going to be the Ghost typing. This is where this leak especially falls apart for me. Just the lack of consistency there. I think Poltergeist should be a move that does damage and swaps Pokemon's items. Poltergeist is a ghost-related thing that makes me think of a ghost moving items around and changing things around in the environment in the room. So I think that would be really cool. Next up, we have Corrosive Gas, a buffed acid spray equivalent. That seems super boring. Acid spray lowers the opponent's SPDEF as you attack them. I think Corrosive Gas should definitely be a move like either Freeze Dry, where Corrosive Gas corrosion affects steel. So it could be a Freeze Dry where it is a poison type move that's super effective against steel. So that could really give poison Pokemon a new edge that they had never seen before. Or it could be just a move that maybe isn't super effective against steel types, but can hit steel types. So it really makes us think of Corrosion, Salazzle's signature ability that lets it hit poison type Pokemon, or at least poison them. It could also just be a poison type move that maybe would inflict toxic. Okay, next up we have Coaching. This says normal type. I think Coaching should be a fighting type move, or perhaps normal type. It says here transfer stat boost to selected ally. So that would, if you had maybe +2 to your attack and you use Coaching, gives your ally +2 to attack. That's interesting. I think that could be very well the case with Coaching, but it could also be a move like Decorate, where if you use it in doubles, it would boost all of the Pokemon you use it on stats, so you'd use it on your teammate. Coaching definitely sounds like you're teaching them something, you're coaching them something. They're probably going to relate to stat boost, although it could also be like Instruct, where you have them use their move again. Flip Turn, it says here Fairy type U-turn equivalent. Well, actually, we see in the French version of this move, it uses the term au revoir, which means like see you later in French, but the way they spell au in the beginning is relating to water. So a lot of people are actually questioning this also because we really think that Flip Turn is going to be water-based, especially if you think of in the pool, if you're swimming and you want to turn around at the edge of the pool, you use what's called a Flip Turn. It's definitely, I think, more water-based. I mean, I could see something like Floatzel getting this move, Buizel getting this move, Poliwrath getting this move. I think this would be really cool as a water type U-turn equivalent. I agree with that U-turn. Perhaps it would be either just that base 70 power, or it could be a lower base power but do something interesting. Like it's like only 20 base power, but it lowers their, I don't know, attack as you switch out. I think that would be really, really cool. Right now, Parting Shot would lower both attack and special attack when you switch out. So I think this would be a really cool, like does some damage, but also has a secondary effect. Next up, Triple Axel. It says here it's a steel type move that hits 3 times, like triple hit. I think actually Triple Axel is a very much ice skating related move. It's very difficult to pull off, so maybe it'll have a lower accuracy or a chance to fail or something like that. But it makes me think of Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, things like that, where it could actually be increasing your Pokemon stats, and it could be increasing them quite a bit. Like, I mean, this could be some kind of, Triple Axel, like it could be an ice type move, just signature to ice Pokemon, maybe not the ones that are fat and just sit there like Avalugg, but it could be an ice type move that could raise like attack and defense and speed or something like that. So I think that would be really interesting. Dual Wing Beat, a flying type dual hit move. I mean, if this is something like Bone Meringue that hits twice and it's pretty strong base power, or Double Iron Bash that hits twice, pretty strong base power, this could be a very, very awesome new flying type physical move, or it could be a special move that a lot of flying type Pokemon are really missing out on some powerful flying moves. We really only have Hurricane and Brave Bird, and not even all the flying type Pokemon get those moves. So this could be a very new, interesting flying type move. Scorching Sands, ground type, Scald equivalent. I love this. I kind of agree with this. It sounds like it should be a ground type, and it could inflict a burn. I also think it could be if you use it while there is harsh sunlight, then perhaps you will have an increased amount of damage based off of it. So those are my two ideas there. Wicked Blow, Urshifu signature move. We agree with that. I think Surging Strike's a water type, also Urshifu signature move. I'm pretty sure we already know about that, so that is confirmed there. All right, let's take a look at the next leak. Sorry I spent so long on those moves. I just had a lot of thoughts on them. I was going to make a video about those moves forever ago, but I ended up just putting it off, and then all this other leaks came out. So this is just a really long video. Please, hopefully you're going to stick with me here. If you are enjoying it, though, make sure to like and subscribe so you can see more stuff like this. So next up, we have some information on Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. It says, in the Lice of Armor, Isle. They just spelled it weird. Isle of Armor, in addition to Gmax forms, there are confirmed you'll also be a Gmax Mimikyu, Gmax Phalanx, Gmax Psyduck, Gmax Greedent, Gmax Octillery. Okay, I mean, these seem interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Game Freak's going to add a lot of new Gmax forms. Just these terms here doesn't make me think whether this is real or fake. I mean, this very well could be real. Mustard will also battle you with his own Gmax Urshifu with the opposite form in the final battle before the end. The Gmax starters will be given to you as a reward. I believe Mustard is the guy who's going to be training you with your Cubfu, and he's going to help you learn one of the two forms for Cubfu. So that could very well be the case there. There are other Galarian forms. Galarian Slowpoke, we already know about. Psychic, Galarian Slowbro. This is saying Psychic and Poison, which I think would be cool. It does not mention Galarian Slowking, which might be below. It's going to talk about that again in the Crown Tundra. Galarian Sharpedo, a Water Steel type, which would be very cool. Galarian Wurmple, Bug and Poison. Dustox, Fairy Poison. Beautifly, Fairy Fire. So it pretty much is neglecting here Silicune and Cascoon, which is the middle stage there for Wurmple evolving into Dustox and Beautifly, as well as some weird things here in that Dustox and Beautifly lose their Bug type. And even Beautifly doesn't just lose its bug type, it loses its bug and flying and gains both fire and fairy. And that seems weird to me. That, again, makes these leaks seem strange. Like, I don't think they're all of a sudden going to make Dustox and Beautifly not even the bug typing. So that's kind of where I'm losing credibility here. Galarian Shroomish, Poison and Grass type, and then down below it's going to say that it's going to evolve as well as Seal. And Dunsparce will have different evolutions or something like that. I guess that could be a thing. Galarian Shroomish is poison grass type. I mean, I always kind of thought regular Shroomish was poison grass. I always forget it's just plain grass type when it evolves into Breloom, which is that grass fighting. Because it has poison heal. Breloom has poison heal, so it's definitely poison related. And then there's a Galarian Dunsparce, which is a dragon water, and then Galarian Seal is a fighting type. It says down here, Shroomish, Seal, and Dunsparce have new evolutions, which are Gardome, which is the Shroomish evolution, ugly, short, gnome-like creature with a hat shaped like a mushroom. Okay, that's I mean, we're in Galar, maybe we got gnomes as well. Galarian Dugong will evolve into Narbrawl, which is a black and white swollen seal, dark fighting type. Okay, I mean, it could be a really unique dark and fighting type if it has a very, very high speed. Right now we have not a lot of dark fighting types that have high speed, right? We have Scrafty, and we have, which is very slow, but it can use Dragon Dance. And then we also have our Punching Panda. Man, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he also has a low speed. Galarian Dunsparce evolves into Dracosparce, which is a dragon water type. Here's another instance where I think this might be not credible. We've had Dunsparce in the game forever. People have been wanting it to have mega evolutions, become the dragon type. We've never seen anything been given to Dunsparce. Not saying it couldn't happen, but at this point I think Game Freak is just trolling us and just not ever going to give us something for Dunsparce. Okay, last part here. I know this is a long video. Thanks for sticking with me. In the Crown Tundra, there are a few new Gmax forms like Gmax Stonejourner, Rhenagris, Nidoking, Nidoqueen, and Cursula. My initial thoughts on this, I'd love to see Nidoking and Nidoqueen get something from this. I mean, Galar is based off of, the United Kingdom, England, kings and queens. We've had so much talk about that, and we don't have the king and the queen in the game with Nidoking and Nidoqueen. They have to have something. Come on, at least give us a form or a Gmax move. I'd rather see a Galarian form for them, but that's personally my opinion. New Galarian forms in the Crown Tundra of Galarian Slowking. Okay, now this person's saying it's Psychic Ghost. Perhaps again related to that Corsola or Cursula instead of a Shelder. We have Psyduck and Golduck, which are dark and ice types. Interesting. Maybe that could be the case. We have a Galarian Doduo, which is ice and flying. Perhaps it's going to have a new evolution. I don't see Galarian Dodrio here. Perhaps I'm just not seeing it yet, and we'll read it in a bit. Galarian Dedenne, which is Electric Ice. Galarian Patrat, which is just a Steel type. Watchog, which is just a Steel type. And Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland become Dark type. And it says there's new evolutions like Watchog evolves into Guardhog, which is a Steel type that appears to be an armored knight with a long sword attached to its tail. Very interesting. I mean, I wouldn't write this off as being fake, but again, this all could just be speculation. This is just could be something that somebody posted to 4chan. And then we have Calyrex, also has a Gigantamax form that is the mythical Pokemon associated with the Crown Tundra. And the two Regis in the temple are called Regivolt and Regidrake. I mean, a lot of people have been saying stuff like that. So again, and it says that's all for now. Ciao, and they spelled Chow wrong. It's an Italian word. It's spelled with an I, not an H there. So yeah, I mean, just because you spelled something wrong at the end and you had some spelling mistakes throughout and some other things like that, doesn't necessarily mean this is fake, but I would hold out on believing this until we see more information, which we should see some new information for the Isle of Armor coming next month. Its official release date was always put as June, and hopefully with all this stuff going on in the world, we don't see it delayed. They haven't said anything yet, so hopefully it's still coming June, and we're going to see a trailer for it soon. Well, again, if you have been enjoying this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I know it was a long one, but sometimes it's fun to just discuss things like this. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Peace.